Tails starts flying the plane looking for Sonic, and somehow he manages to find him. Ooh, my Sonic senses are tingling. He must be this way. The animal capsule hasn't been broken at all. So, apparently in Tails' version of the cutscene, he finds Sonic, and Sonic never actually frees all the animals. Oh well, I never cared about the animals anyways. And I'm going to be cutting out the tornado section here because you've already seen it, and it's literally the exact same thing. I don't really swing that way, Sonic. Something I haven't mentioned yet is that a lot of the times the characters seem to stay up all night, and like you think that they would get tired at some point. Cause sometimes I like how there's a day and night system sort of, but sometimes it makes you wonder how Sonic is able to stay awake during the entirety of the adventure without getting tired.
We got a problem here.
What now?
I forgot to put in the landing gear.
I think Tails' story exaggerates his problem with the plane because he looks back on it and he's so embarrassed that he made such a stupid mistake. Because he forgot to install landing gear in this mode,
This thing is really
not
huge.
in the plane itself. But here he exaggerates the problem.
No time to go.
And here he says to Captain Obvious Mark.
You're right, pal. Let's get busy.
And here they're standing in different positions. So Tails flies ahead, except he doesn't have to because he can finally
Don't
take
give
the
any
spring.
ideas, Sonic.
And he ignores Tails, even though it's Tails' story. It would make Tails look arrogant looking back on the adventure if he just mentioned Tails and that's it. Because it's already pushing it that Sonic is in the background, as usually Tails portrays the main character here.
Whoa! Hey, transform! Did you see that?
Now, how are we gonna get to the bridge?
I hate it when he doesn't listen to me.
I guess you weren't expecting that, were you? There's only one way to get to me, Sonic, and that's through the sky deck. I doubt if you can make it. Ha ha! I dare you!
Tails has to go through Skydeck too, although
Get on, Eggman.
thankfully it's only Act 1, which is the least offensive of them all, but unfortunately, with Act 1 of Skydeck for Tails,
So, this must
It's
be the
kinda-
sky deck, huh?
he falls out of the sky while saying that. But anyways, it's kind of hard to tell exactly which direction is supposed to go flying through this level. Like, how exactly do you progress? The level is made out of these really narrow platforms. So, when you're flying, it's really easy to fall into a bottomless pit because you don't land exactly right on them. The level looks so wide open, and you might think that if you feel a lot more free as Tails because you can fly over all of it and go in any direction you want, but how are you supposed to know which direction that is? So I hate this level as Tails because it's so easy to die because you fall into a pit, and it's hard to know exactly what direction to go. Because in Windy Valley, it was very easy for me to figure out what I was supposed to do to take shortcuts. It was very easy for me to figure out what directions I could go to get to places before Sonic. This scripted sequence is kind of awkward for that reason. But anyways, it's kind of harder to figure out how to take shortcuts. But I'm still effortlessly beating Sonic. Even though he has rubber banding AI. Tails actually has object files for all acts of Skydeck, but Tails' version of Act 2 and Act 3 are mostly empty. They didn't have the chance to be programmed in because they decide at the last minute, let's only give Tails one act because he's the easy mode. And again, these are really narrow platforms, and especially in that perspective, like I almost flew off the edge there. And you free animals here instead of throwing a rocket into the cannon. So I guess in canon, that's why Sonic didn't find a robot capsule there in his story, because Tails made it there before him naturally, and broke it before he could get to the rocket.
Yeah. Is that it?
Sonic, we should check out the bridge.
In the auto demo version in Final Egg Act 3, Sonic doesn't start inside the elevator, which is kind of weird. He starts in the middle of the room. There's no announcements in the level at all, and there's no character dolls to destroy either. So the demo version is kind of less personality filled.
Sonic! Tails!
She sounds so happy there.
Not the birdie! That's the Chaos Emerald! No way!
Really?
Be gone, all of you. This is all I really need. Gamma? What is your wish, Master?
He didn't have a chance to spell his name wrong this time.
Get rid of these pests. Give them all you got. Aye, aye, Master Robotnik. I'll leave it up to you, Gamma.
And again, this boss fight is slightly harder because you can't homing attack into him, but just get some rings, and then I recommend taking advantage of the rhythm badge here because it's a lot less precise. It's better than just trying to precisely jump into him. You can hold down the Tails button to continuously do rhythm badge attacks, or you can hold down the B button while you're moving forward to roll into a ball. And again, this isn't the canon version of the cutscene because it's Sonic that fights
Move aside,
Ganon here.
Amy. Get out of the way!
But Tails has to be the hero in this one, even though that's not how it actually was.
He helped me. Don't hurt him.
That's part of the problem I have with the way that the story is presented, with different perspectives, because it's kind of hard to tell which
If you
one is the
say so.
canon one
You have your
sometimes.
reasons, I guess.
I'm assuming it's usually Sonic's cutscenes that are canon,
Hey, this ship is losing altitude.
and the background does a great job of showing that. I love how the ground isn't shaking at all.
I'll find Eggman
And
put
the
a
chip
stop
isn't
to this
tilted at
evil
all.
blaze.
Except he doesn't, and I don't know why you'd ever think that. Look at how slowly his tails are spinning there. Like, that proves that he's flying with magic, because even excluding the whole how does he fly when without his tails getting twisted up around each other, they still fly way too slowly to work as helicopter blades and make him hover that way. Like, they weren't even flying at all there. They weren't even moving at all there. He's floating with magic. He's got chaos energy in him that gives him that ability. There's no other explanation. And look at how beautiful the sky is. It's orange and pink. I wish I saw a sunset like that. And Amy's in her own little world, not paying attention to Tails at all. Pointless waiting. This doesn't pad things out at all.
That's
This happens a
Eggman.
lot more in
I wonder what
06.
happened to Sonic.
What was he even going for with that line? I wonder what happened to Sonic.
I'm finished. Chaos was defeated, and now my egg carrier is ruined. No matter. I will destroy Station Square anyway.
That's a weird looking animation. What is he even doing there? Okay then. But yeah, this is actually pretty dark. He actually tries to blow up the city with a missile. That doesn't hit close to home.
If that missile is launched,
Ready? Fire!
It really drives home how much of a threat Eggman would be if he was real. Because he's essentially an international terrorist. That's basically what he is. He wants to take down governments and destroy property. And it just seems all darker because he's using real life tactics
it was
here.
a dud. I can't believe
And this proves that
Recycled
recycled dialogue. But this proves that he didn't actually build the missile and just got it from a black market from someone else. Because otherwise, he would know for a fact that it was
before he detonates
working.
it.
This is the most frantic music they've ever used. And then they just use Chaos's music here. Why are they playing Chaos's theme here? He's not involved in the cutscene at all. They should have just kept the frantic music playing.
Before Eggman.
I've got to hurry up and prevent the missile from blowing up and killing everyone. This is the perfect time to reflect on myself and... No!
I've
Tails!
changed a lot since I started hanging with Sonic.
The city is about to be destroyed! This comes out of nowhere, by the way.
I know I can
He
do
never
it
talks about this
myself.
before.
Okay, Eggman, bring it on.
Boom! And then the city gets blown up because Tails was standing there taking too long. Well, that's what would happen
You
if
think
things
you
made
can
sense,
keep up
or
with me?
if Eggman moved a lot faster. Because he's moving pretty slowly here.
Goodbye.
I didn't get to show it off, but there's actually a line Eggman can say when you get ahead of him, where he says, "Tails, wait for me." And he sort of says it exactly like that. He says it in a kind of tsundere way. It's really funny. Unfortunately, I didn't get to show that line off, and in order to show it off, I would have had to click restart in the pause menu, and that meant I would have had to lose a life, and if I edited it out, you would think that I had died, and that would have been embarrassing, because this level's really easy because Eggman doesn't actually have rubber banding AI. So, he's never going to catch up with you, even though he can fly with his Eggmobile, and so you'd think he'd be taking all the same shortcuts as Tails does. Not to mention his Eggmobile should be moving at the speed of sound because he constantly has to deal with someone who moves at the speed of sound. So you'd think he'd be a lot faster than he is. But anyways, this is my favorite level in the game. Like, I have a hard time determining whether I like Sonic's gameplay or Tails' gameplay better in this game, because both are fantastic. But this is definitely my favorite level as Tails. You get such a satisfying feeling of freedom, doing all sorts of shortcuts. And it's a lot better with the jet anklet. Again, I don't know how I missed that. I always get it. I should have watched an LP of the game right beforehand. Because I watched plenty of LPs of the game, but I should have watched it again. Also, this is really awkward. The camera isn't very good at staying inside of the tube. And you'll constantly be moving against the sides of the walls. You're better off skipping the tube entirely. But on the other hand, you can start rolling inside the tube and move through it pretty quickly. I've never actually taken that alternate route before. It's really annoying how you just stop there. You stop again. Why? Why can't you just keep on going instead of awkwardly being forced to abruptly stop after you take those boosters? That's so stupid. It just cancels out your momentum arbitrarily. And look at how behind Eggman is. That's just sad. Again, he can fly too. He's flying with the Eggmobile. He has no excuse for being so far behind. But anyways, In the next part, I'll be finishing off Tails' story.